Hey everybody, welcome to another set of MrRipper stories narrated by yours truly, Brian Von VA. Today, we are going to be talking about your best tasks that have been failed successfully. I can't say I've had one of these moments in my life just yet as far as I'm aware, but I'm sure if I do find a story, it'll come to me. However, if you have a story, please put it down in the comments below. We read them, and the algorithm gods, they love you for it, and they mostly love us for it too. That's how YouTube works. That said, let's get into what are your best tasks failed successfully D&D stories. I have several from my campaign, but most recently we had a very intense combat. Our wild magic sorcerer has a custom wild magic table. DM made it for her early game as a part of a fun surprise he wanted to hit her with, and regarding a detail he added to her backstory. It was customized further when she and my monk went to the gates of the moon, and she begged Timora for her wild magic to go off more often. That's not always a good thing. We're in combat, holding our own, but the fight is getting weird. A running joke of our campaign was that whenever the sorcerer summoned a nightmare with wild magic, it was the same nightmare every time. It hated us and allowed itself to become a hellish mount in hopes that its rider would protect it from us. Sorcerer rolls a 1, and her wild magic starts going off every turn. Nightmare and rider pop up. Enemy we were fighting was about to kill the nightmare and the rider, but notices the nightmare doesn't seem to be our ally and lets them live. The rider starts to go into his rant about how he's going to end us, but then he sees the massive battlefield we're on. He rides off with his nightmare, and for the next minute he's making devil deals left and right. The battlefield ends up swarmed with devils. Devils who are all helping beat the enemy we were fighting. The nightmare vanished after a minute, but he and his rider come back of their own free will to keep wrecking the field. TLDR, hostile running gag nightmare decides he likes the party after we accidentally summoned him into a war zone. He and his rider fought on our side and helped turn the battle in the favor of the good guys. Sometimes all it takes is a little bit of chaos and rage. We're playing in a campaign set in the time when the Neverwinter Nights video games take place, and in this session our party is assaulting a keep that Uthgarth barbarians had taken over. Our party consists of a kitsune wizard named Fox, a reborn barbarian named Horus, a tiefling bard named Q. Her real name is much longer, but we'll just call her Q. A 9-foot-tall female animated bronze statue cleric named Bear. Because the statue wears a bear suit, don't bother asking, we don't know either. Oh, come on, we gotta have a story. And a swift stride shifter ranger named Breeze. My character. An important detail to note, Fox and Q have formed a bit of a clique as tail buddies since they were the only ones in the party with tails. We make our way to the keep and it seems like nobody's home. As we get up closer to the gate, Q gets shot by a heavy crossbow mounted in one of the windows of the tower overlooking the entrance. So Fox, seeing his tail buddy get shot, runs over and misty steps into the window. Breeze sees this and realizes Fox, the squishy wizard, is just going to end up dead up there without some backup. Since she's a Fey wanderer, she also has misty steps, so she joins him in the tower. Together, the two of them manage to kill the enemies in the tower, something like the 4 guys. What we didn't know was that this was the boss room. We finish up that fight and we're exploring the room when the rest of the party finally makes it to us after having fought all the way through the keep the long way around. The two of us had literally circumvented the majority of the battle and beaten the boss to liberate the keep simply because Fox, being the compulsive and chaotic kitsune he was, got mad that his tail buddy got shot. Another story from the Gestalt pirate game I'm playing in. Ooh. We were on our way into a temple so Aris could double-cross the warden, a Sorsadin who was after the rest of the party. Aris, a human artificer rogue played by Hamwa, had already solved the first puzzle, congratulations, which involved matching locks to races and unlocking them in the correct order. That's kinda cool. Well, now we were on to the second puzzle, a room with a sacrificial pit, an orcish inscription about proving your devotion, and a hallway enchanted with sickening radiance. Now, out of character, I'm reminded of the first Grail test in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, an amazing movie, by the way, go watch it, and Aris walks through the radiance chanting, "Devotion!" in Orcish and burning all her flashes of genius to pass the Constitution saves. Thane, a sea elf druid monk, puts 2 and 2 together and cuts herself over the pit before walking through unscathed. Rex, a Warforged at the time, Sorlock, decided to just tank the Radiance with his ungodly high Constitution saves. Well, turns out Arise's actions got the attention of Grumpish, who stopped the Warden from teleporting out when the fight turned to our favor, and also skewed the Reincarnate spell to exclusively favor the Orc option when Rex tried to tank the hallway again and died on the way out. Arise cut herself over the altar to be able to pass through safely. TLDR, I failed a simple passage puzzle, but ended up attracting the attention and aid of Grumpish. My friend and I, a party of 2, got in a pretty rough situation. We were in a new little town without weapons and money, so we decided to find a merchant willing to give us weapons in exchange for some favor. Fortunately, we found one, and thanks to very good persuasion rolls, convinced him to give us 1 good sword right now and 1 later if we kill his competition, a mysterious artifact merchant who was stealing all his clients. And so we did track that merchant down and ambushed him in a dark alleyway, but it turned out he had several magical bombs under his cloak, as well as some crazy powerful staff. Seeing how outmatched we are, we used persuasion again and promised him to kill that spiteful traitor if he helps us just a tiny bit. Nat 20. He became convinced that we could be useful to him and lent us a couple pretty powerful scrolls, promising us more if we deal this competition. I guess you can already tell where it's going, right? I sense a back and forth ping pong table game going on. The first merchant was always sitting in safe places and refusing to go places with no people around, and our charisma rolls suddenly became pretty poor. So we decided, fuck it, and just left the town with the sword and the scrolls we've got. To me, it was actually a great outcome because my character was a rather pacifistic negotiator. TLDR, we accepted 2 assassination quests, failed both, but got the reward and left without hurting anyone. I was expecting you guys to keep playing back and forth. Oh no, we need another weapon to kill him fast. And you go back, oh no, the scrolls didn't work. We need this very specific weapon to kill him fast. Bugs Bunny and Daffy ducking them, basically. Failed my jump check to hop the gap while running from a group of bandits and fell down a 70-foot ice chasm as my ranger laid face down at the bottom of the legs broken. I asked how convincingly dead he looked. Apparently very, because the bandits just assumed he was dead and chased the rest of the party. 5 hours later, my ranger ice-picked his way out of the ice chasm and dragged himself to 6 days back to town. I call that a success, because my goal was to escape the bandits. And that's pretty much the textbook definition of the phrase task failed successfully right there. Although I guess technically dying would also qualify, as you wouldn't need to escape anymore if you're already dead. I was having a horrible run of dice one session. We're talking 8 natural ones in a row. I would break those and light them on fire. Towards the end of the session, I was fed up. My character at the time was a voice actor. Hey, so am I, for lack of a better term. Not a Kenku, but he was pretty good at mimicking the sounds and voices of other people as part of his bardic act. I love that. The party wanted me to replicate the sound of a dragon roaring to chase away some goblins who had surrounded our cart while we were away. Fed up with the dice at this point, I declared, I am making the mating call of a blue whale. Oh, God. Why did that get me? I rolled natural 1. The most realistic sounding dragon erupted from my mouth, scaring not only the goblins away, but also forcing a wisdom saving throw on my party to prevent them from being feared. Later on, we learned that my roar was so realistic that a real dragon believed that another dragon was encroaching on its territory. What does a dragon in heat sound like, I wonder? Spoilers for the Icewind Dale adventure. Spoiler alert. Ding dong, everyone who's currently running Icewind Dale. Spoilers ahead. You've been warned. We had been making our way through the 10 towns and came across Caer Dinval. I think it was that one. The one controlled by mercenaries and run by a couple of tieflings. Well, after showing off my paladin's rank as a mercenary captain in the Zentarum, the tieflings decided to allow us entry. And there was a lot off about the whole situation. Why would the town leader give all his responsibilities to this random mercenary band? What are these tieflings? Who are the only tieflings we've seen in the campaign doing here? Why hasn't the town leader been seen for months? If the town leader is supposedly ill, why won't the tieflings let me use my divine powers to cure him? Stay tuned next time on Dragon Ball Z. Wait a minute. Okay, back to the story. So we repeatedly demand audience under the assumption that he is either dead or has sold out the town. The next day, we finally got our audience. Town leader was a old, frail human, but didn't seem sick. Well, one of the Oaths of Glory tenets is to act without hesitation. I laid down my weapon, got up, and made my way to the town leader. Of course, all the guards tried to stop me, which meant I had to roll to prevent being grappled. Nat 1. I face plant, bite the stairs. Combat begins, dice are rolled, and we kill all the guards and tieflings. Turns out he was being held hostage, and we accidentally freed him and all of his servants, as well as you got free dental from falling on the stairs. But good job on saving the old town leader. Hey everyone, Brian Von VA here, back at it again, checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, that way you can get posted whenever we post a short or brand new video. And if you so wish, leave a comment down below, which will help not only the algorithms, but help us too, because we always look for new stories. If you have a best task that you failed successfully, leave it in the comments. We read that stuff. And if you want to come over here and check out Brian, me, Brian Von VA, you can do so on Twitch and YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, anywhere really. But I mostly go live on Twitch now. You can find me down in the description below under my website, brianvonva.com. That said, I'd like to just, I kind of want to just say something. One of the stories I was reading today talked about a voice actor bard. And I love that. I think that's beautiful. It really hit home with me because I said, that's me in a nutshell. And then they talked about a dragon, like making a dragon sound. My first role in a video game ever was for a little game called Potion Commotion, and I played not only this old wizard, this like, hello, an old wizard, but I played a little dragon, and I had to do about 6 to 12 little dragon sound effects, and that just really hit home for me. But it also made me chuckle really hard. I wanted to share that with everybody because it was my first little time ever getting it. I think it was in 2020 as well, so it was 2 years ago. But it was so cute and so cool, and I want to see more like bards doing voice acting things or mimicry, or not like Kenku's how they do voice mimicry. I'm talking more about like a bard trying to just, I don't know, change his whole persona and perception to make him or her look and sound completely different. You know, taking on and picking up the mannerisms of someone totally different and being able to fool hundreds upon hundreds of enemies into thinking they are the true leader of their legion. When in reality, they just sound like this and they're gonna herp-derp their way through a fucking roll. Anyway, I love you all. Please be safe, stay happy out there, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.